What's up, YouTube? Back with another video for Carnivorous Plants Journey, and today I wanted to give you 3 tips that I have learned over the last 2 summers of growing Venus flytraps to help you guys hopefully grow them a little bit better or to avoid some of the mistakes that I've made. The first tip was last year my pots were really shallow or short, and I've moved to these tall 5x5 white pots, and these keep the roots out of the water zone. If you can see this faint little line right here, this is from the tray where they sit in the water. I constantly try to keep the tray full. Every day I fill them up to that line. And what these pots do is it allows the roots to grow down to the water without having the roots be just constantly submersed in the water. The Venus flytrap roots I find don't really like to sit in water constantly. Not to say that you can't, but at least with my grow style, or maybe because it was in peat moss, this is sphagnum, they just never really did very well sitting in the water. I like to have these white pots since I grow these outdoors in my greenhouse. Any sun that hits these will reflect the light and the heat, and it keeps the inside of the pot cooler so that it's not cooking the roots. That was the first change I made from last year. Second was, and I'm still kind of guilty of this one honestly, but if you feed them too large of prey, and if you see a lot of my videos like feeding black widows and stuff to them, when the trap has any bit of the bug hanging out, whether it be a leg or a the head or whatever, the insect, it is not good for the plant. It is fun to go ahead and feed them stuff. I mean, that's, one of the allures of having Venus flytraps. But when the plant can't fully enclose the prey and it can't make a clean seal with the hairs clasping, around each other and making a tight seal, after it starts to fill up with the digestive fluids, wherever something is hanging out of the trap, the digestive fluid will kind of like drip out of the plant, and it'll drip down the side of the trap, and it'll kill the trap. A trap can normally maybe get between 3 to 7 prey, and close on a fly or a bug 3 to 7 times and have 3 to 7 mils. But when it starts to drip the digestive fluid, you're pretty much killing the trap after that first one, or wherever it is along the however many it's eaten. That's going to be its last trap, and the head will turn black and just die off from the digestive fluids. And my last and biggest lesson learned was I was under the assumption, for some reason, because a carnivorous plant eats bugs, I didn't understand that bugs can also eat the plant. I didn't really think that, something that lived off of attracting insects and bugs was under threat of getting eaten by bugs themselves. And this was my biggest lesson learned last year by far. I would look at the plants, and I just could not figure out last year why they were dying and coming out deformed. And ultimately, after reaching out to a lot of people online, they told me to check for spider mites and thrips. They said spider mites you'll see up in the traps sometimes, and the thrips more so are going to be down here in the crowns. I would check them during the day, and I just didn't see anything, and I started to go out at nighttime with a flashlight and check the crowns of the plants, and lo and behold, I had what they call the western flower thrips living down in the crowns. And so what I started doing is once every 2 weeks, I use this product right here. It's the BioAdvance Rose and Flower Insect Killer. Make sure you get the one that has no NPK down here. The NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and it's added food that they put in the sprays. This one has nothing. Here's the active ingredients right there. And just once every 2 weeks, I go ahead and I spray down all my plants with this, from my Drosera to my Nepenthes to my fly traps. Everything gets a good shot of this once every 14 days or 2 weeks. This was definitely my biggest lesson that I learned from last year. I will forever do preventative sprays. I think it's best to not wait until you have a problem. I go ahead and spray whether there's a problem or not, and I have not had any problems this year. And so yes, this was my biggest takeaway. So after doing that, I mean, if you see the videos from last year, these are just absolutely monster traps. This is my B52. My traps are way bigger, way healthy after doing those two tricks of the taller pot and doing the sprays. I unfortunately still have a habit sometimes of feeding bigger prey than I should. But it's not good to do. And after I've learned that lesson, I try not to do that anymore, but accidents do happen sometimes, and I just try not to do it. But yeah, those are the three biggest lessons that I've learned from last year. And so if you're a novice, just, try to keep from making those same mistakes, and hopefully you can grow some nice big traps. Appreciate you guys watching.